Lesson 2, we've got our logs. So you should be thinking of your log rules. And I'm just going to quickly write that on the side. So I've got my log, and I've got, I'll call it the argument. Okay, it's the term inside the log. So the argument I'll just underline here. That'll be your arguments there, okay? So if I'm adding my logs, I multiply my arguments. If I subtract my logs, I'm dividing the arguments. If I've got, n log x, I can do a power. So that's like a multiply. I'll write a multiply, and then that can become a power. Yeah. So it's like n log x becomes log x n. Yeah. So those are your three main rules. Very similar to the indices rules, where when you multiply terms, you add the powers, divide the terms, take away the powers. When you do the power, when you do a power to a power, you multiply the terms. So almost the exact same. So anyway, let's get cracking. So the first thing I'll do is I'll do that power rule. So I'll move my 2 up to the top, and then I've got log 3 to the 4. Next thing I'm going to do is I will divide. So take away means divide. So let's try and simplify that out, shall we? So that's going to give me log 3. Now 6 squared is 36. And 36 divided by 4 would be 9. So what does that equal? Well, the next thing I'd write down here, you don't have to obviously write down your log rules. I'm just trying to, remind you. But what I would always write down is something just to remind me what's happening with logs, right? So that equals 2. I know that equals 2 because that would rearrange to be 100 equals 10 to the power of 2. That's what your log's saying, okay? It's a bit like saying 10 to the power of what's 100. It's like a time machine. So I've got 100, and I was doing powers of 10. I was doing a base 10. So how many kind of times did I have to times it by itself to get to 100? I did 2. Yeah. But the way I kind of visualize it is it's like moving this little 10 down here. So it still stays the base here. I've got a log base 10, and over here it's going to be a base 10. So you're kind of saying, so if you didn't know the answer, if you said log 10 to the 100 is what, you'd be saying, well, it's 10 to the power of what? So then your answer is 2. And it's the same over here. You're kind of moving your 3 over and saying, right, 3 to the power of what is 9? 3 to the power of what is 9? I'll try and make that slightly better so it's not, 3 to the power of what, so your what is 2. So I'll just put my answer 2 in there because you're saying, 3 to the power of 2 is 9. All right. So your answer is 2. I just can't bring myself to leave that there, so I'm going to have to. I just feel someone's going to look at that and get really confused because the question's saying 3 to the power of what is 9. That's what this means in English, right? So you're just getting a mark for each of your lines there. Every time you use a rule, you're getting a point. Maybe just worth pointing out something a bit tricky. So say we had something like, 3. Say we had log. I'll try that again. Let's do a log base 2, shall we? Say it was log base 2, and it was. Let me have a wee think for something a bit tricky. I say it was a fraction. Say it was a quarter. That's quite tough, isn't it? So you're saying, well, 2 to the power of what is going to be equal to a quarter? Well, if I did 2 to the power of negative 1, I would get 1 over 2 because you change the sign across the line. So if I was to do then 2 to the power of negative 2, it'd be 1 over 2 squared, which would be 1 over 4. So in this case, you'd be saying, well, that's going to be negative 2 then. Okay, so just watch out for that. That's probably about as hard as they can make it if you get a fraction in here. Okay, so just I'll put that in just in case someone sees that. So it's going to be negative 2. Okay, and that's you with your logs. So just if you know that, that's about as hard as you can get it. It's I think we've talked through that enough.